which has been specially recommended after Salat in the month of Rajab, which begins with Ya man arjuhu likulli khair. But because we just do not understand the meaning of it, perhaps the significance of the dua is also lost. But it is a dua which really describes our situation in life, our need to have assistance and guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our commitment to the fact that there is none who can harm us if we are in His protection, and that we expect nothing but good from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya man arjuhu likulli khair. O He from whom I hope all good. Wa amanu sakhatahu inda kulli shar. And whenever any harm or evil has got to befall us, I have full faith in security from Him. But the most important part is, O He who gives unto those who do not ask. Ya man yu'ti man lam yas'alhu. O He who gives to those who do not even ask, do not even beg, do not even pray. وَلَمْ يَعْرِفُ. And there are others who do not even know Him. Yet He gives. تَحَنُّنًا مِنْهُ وَرَحْمَةً. He gives after His graciousness and His kindness. I am asking of you, I beg of you, I pray unto you, to you who gives to even those who do not even pray, who do not even know. This is a dua which must be read in every Rajab to give us an idea as to we are heading for a month which is the month of Ramadan, and this is a preparatory stage, but in fact the dua in Rajab is a guideline for the whole life. And tonight I would like to dwell upon two or three very important aspects, although they are not interrelated. But at the same time, there is a small fine line running in between. One, we are passing through the days of crisis when the whole world is passing in through the crisis. We have got to consider our situation and our position in the light of Islam. The Arabs say that the worst part of any evil is that which, apart from making you grieve, makes you laugh also. When something befalls you, evil, some hard times in life, where you would like to cry and shed tears, but the situations make you laugh, that is the worst evil. Today, we are being told to make a choice between the two. Who will you side with? Saddam Hussein or United States of America and allies? Since when has a man who has soiled his blood, his hands in the blood of ulama, become a representative of Islam? It's really something which I cannot understand how our people stand to think. Since when has this man become a representative of Islam? When has he been a Muslim? How can he represent Islam? A man who went on killing ulama one after the other, and even till today in his prison we have got ulama lying there. And even today we have got innocent people being killed simply because they are staunch and practicing Muslims. Today the world is being told that he represents Islam, that he is a hero in Islamic history. This makes us laugh, at the same time cry. And this is the worst situation we are in. that today Muslims are being represented in the person of Saddam Hussein? Al-ayadhu billah, a man who has no religion and has no commitment to religion. But simply because he stands against the allies and the forces which are un-Islamic, therefore he is a Muslim, and therefore he is a hero, and therefore men like us are being asked as to where will you side. The question is just irrelevant. But this is the crisis. And I had said this earlier, that we were told by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and by the Aimma, salamullah alayhim ajma'in, we were given the signs of the last days, which we call alam zuhur or akhir zaman. We were told this, and it was there, it is still there in the books. There will come a time when people who have got nothing to do with Islam will stand to defend Islam. And Allah has decided that such people shall not be helpful to Islam at all. Because Allah does not take assistance for Islam from those who have nothing to do with Islam. So what is the crisis? The wars come and go. The battles are fought, lost, and sometimes won. And of course the whole world is going to be some way affected by this war. There is no doubt about it. Whether it is economical or ecological or environmental or financial or whatever, or political. Every one of us is going to be affected. So I say that in days like this, do not forget that there are certain acts of worship which have been recommended and we must do. Like reading Dua Azum al-Bala is actually meant for these days. Ilahi Azum al-Bala wa Barih al-Khifa is actually meant for these days. We must always read it, we read it, but we read as if we want just to participate in a ceremony. Sometimes it is read because we want to stand for ziyarat. Sometimes it is read so fast that people would like to put it aside. It has got to be read with all the heart in it. Azum al-Bala wa Barih al-Khafa are the days that we are passing through. Not necessarily only when the Jamaats assemble, it can be read even at home. After every namaz, Ilahi Azum al-Bala wa Barih al-Khafa. Second, these are the days when the people, mu'mineen, should not forget reading hadith qisa wherever they meet. For in this particular hadith qisa, Imam Ali alayhi salam asked the Prophet as to what is going to be the effect of remembering this particular event of qisa. ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه. This is a part of the last ending part. Whenever this particular incident of Qisa will be remembered by people who love us and believe, there will be no worry except that the worry is removed. And there will be no grief, but that grief will be allayed. And there will be no hajat, but that hajat will be completed and fulfilled. And this is the part of Qisa, and it has been always helpful. I would not like to say and recount the incidents, but this is the times when we must now remember Ahlul Bayt Salamullah alayhim ajma'in, for which in the particular salawat which has been recommended in the month of Sha'ban, Allahumma salli ala shajaratin nubuwwah, which is there in Sha'ban, of course, there is a word which has been used for Ahlul Bayt, wa kahfil hasin, a cave which grants protection. Ahlul Bayt protect. The third thing is, I recommend that these are the days of giving sadaqah, even if it means 1 penny a day. When your children go out of the house, when your family goes out, when you go to sleep at night, give a sadaqah even if it is 1p. But give that sadaqah which will protect. For the Prophet said, give sadaqah even if it is a glass of water, that you may be saved. I said this because I feel that these are the guidelines which must be given at the time of crisis. But the practical side of it is that these are the days when we have been called upon to live and to practice Islam ourselves and for our families. Let us prove to the world that we are good citizens. Being Muslims, we are not bad neighbors. We are not bad citizens. We are reliable, good people, well behaved. Let us give an example of our lives to others so that they may know that to be a Muslim does not only mean to marry 4 wives, or to be a Muslim does not mean that these are the people who will always throw bombs wherever they get opportunity. Let them understand that these are good citizens. Understand this. I say this because we are passing through these days. It has been my opinion that this is not a fight only for oil, as people would like to put it. Ever since communism has fallen as superpower, there is no enemy in the sight of any other country which may be still acting as superpower except Islam. Islam is the enemy. And within Islam, what they call fundamentalism, to which I do not subscribe, because there is nothing like being a fundamentalist. Either you are a practicing Muslim or you are an American Muslim, too. There is no third Muslim. Either you are a practicing Muslim or you are a non-practicing Muslim who has compromised. If you are a practicing Muslim, you will be labeled fundamentalist because your wife is in parda, because you have a beard, because you are behaved as a Muslim. You don't eat pork, you don't drink, you don't gamble, and wherever you stand up for Islamic values, you are labeled a fundamentalist or a fanatic. But there isn't anything else. You are either a practicing Muslim, proud of your faith, or you are just a compromising Muslim, where you can say, Allah is good, but the devil is not so bad. That's all. And therefore to be labeled fundamentalist, and I am really surprised why the scholars of Islam have swallowed this new terminology. It has been translated into Arabic, it has been translated into Farsi, Bunyan, Guzar and all that. We do not believe in fundamentalists. We believe that we are either a practicing Muslim or we are not a practicing Muslim. If we are not, may Allah grant us tawfiq. But these are the days when the enmity is centered over Islam. And I repeat, my youths, my young people, I have said this again and again and again, and I say this through the elders of the community because it is the parents who will tell the children. If the parents will not tell the children, this will go totally unheard. The attack is not on anything else but the values of Islam. The values of Islam. If you want to defeat any particular ideology, you don't kill the people. You actually attack the ideology itself and the value. Islamic values are being attacked and undermined and defeated. And the youths are being told that whatever you believe in is nonsense. It is being ridiculed directly and indirectly. Directly by, of course, inculcations. Indirectly by the media, where things are suggested in dialogues and conversations, where the children take it very indirectly and they start believing in it. I give an example. Only this evening I was watching one particular program where a mother is talking to a child. Her own son says, "My son, I want you to go to your classroom immediately as you alight from this car." Maybe his son was playing truant. He was not attending the classroom. So the mother is telling, as she drops him at the school gate, I want you to go to your classroom immediately. And the immediate answer he gives to her, his mother, is, shut up. Now, the boy is talking to his mother. And the one who is listening to this conversation is a son in my family or a daughter in my family. The indirect suggestion is that this is the way one can converse with the parents. And there is no surprise when we hear, when our own children can tell father or mother, mind your own business. Because the value has been attacked. Where Quran says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ, do not say even uff to your parents. And Imam al-Islam said, if there had been any smaller word than uff in Arabic for expression of hatred, Allah would have used it. But there isn't anything smaller than uff. This is Islamic value. That is the value which comes from the media and from the school and from the colleges and from the teachers and in the universities, attacking the value. Then from the mimbar, how long are you going to teach the children about the obedience to parents? How much of akhlaqiyat can work in Sunday school, which is once in a week? You can imagine yourselves. So the attack is on Islam from the outside and from inside. And unfortunately, today, those who are portrayed as defenders of Islam are not defenders of Islam. This is the tragedy. You see, this is the tragedy that we are now totally at loss to understand who to side. We pray only. And our prayers are that, Ya Allah, this Islam is yours. And this mission and message is yours. We have got our shortcomings, but we would like to see that this is protected. Allahumma inna narghabu ilayka fi dawlatin karimatin tu'izzu biha al-islam wa ahlah wa tudhillu biha al-nifaq wa ahlah. Oh God, we would like to see a government or a rule established on earth in which Islam gains honor and hypocrisy and kufr does not gain honor, but it becomes downtrodden. This is what we are praying for. And the time is come that we understand our responsibilities. Now, when I was in East Africa, one gentleman came and said, Mullah Sahab, now, you know, it is becoming very difficult to live as a Muslim. So what to do now? He said, now, immediately as they see the beard, they know this is a Pakka Muslim. So now, shall I shave? So rather than becoming staunch Muslims, we are trying to become compromising Muslims. My wife is wearing hijab. The moment she goes into the market, they point at her. These are those Muslims who, these belong to Saddam. So now shall I tell my wife to remove hijab? These are the things which I have received even letters from some parts of North America, because in North America it is all the more difficult. The moment a woman with hijab goes out, there is a finger pointing at her. The moment someone with a cape or ostensibly a Muslim is seen, there is, don't worry my friends, don't worry. These things come and go. Right during the throes and difficulties, we have got to prove how stable we are. Because these things have come and gone. It has happened to many communities. People don't leave their faith or principles simply because of such things, or being pointed at, or being sneered at. On the contrary, the time has come that we must stick to our faith. This is a crucial time. Time for the faith and time for the practice. And to see that our affiliation goes to those who really represent Islam and not to those who do not. Because much of it is going in the name of politics, and if we get involved into that sort of politics, we'll be doomed. Ya Allah, may Allah save us from these days. The second thing which I say is that, as you must have heard and understood, there was an upheaval in Somalia. And many a times, when people feel false security in things other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and other than deen in Islam, when I feel that since my bank balance is full, therefore I am secure. I have a family which supports me, therefore I am secure. I have children and a house, therefore I am secure. These senses are senses of false security. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when I give, remember me. When I take away, remember me. For I am the giver and provider, and I am the one who takes away and gives back. Ask of me. We forget. And this false sense of security, which has been instilled into us by non-Islamic values, are all temporary. And the example is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاعْتَبِرُوا يَا أُولِي الْأَبْصَارِ. Draw lesson, O people who have got eyes. Ibra, lesson. Again it has happened. After 120 years settlement in Mogadishu and Marka and other places, it is my duty as a servant of this community to report to you all that nearly 1,000 mu'mineen have had to leave Somalia, leaving behind everything. Their houses, their properties, their monies, their clothes. They have come, some of them, with only the pair of clothes they have worn. At least 2 persons were killed in Somalia. One a small girl and one a young man in the house, fortified. The windows were shut and a bullet just entered through the shut window into his neck. And the young man died while his father watched. And the young man had married just 10 months ago. His wife was in Mombasa, waiting for him to arrive. When the ship arrived, the husband was not there because he had been killed. At least 2 elderly died in Mombasa after having arrived. And how many wounded we have in Mogadishu, we do not know, because at least 180 people are still there. It is the bravery of our people, unprecedented and exemplary bravery of Mombasa Jamaat and Nairobi Jamaat, especially Mombasa, especially in the person of Sajjad Rashid and others, who risked their lives and hired a ship and went by ship, Ambassador 1, up to Mogadishu. And despite the crossfire here and there between the rebel and the government troops, they managed to rescue and evacuate nearly 750 people, brought them onto the ship, and some 350 more from other communities, including the Hindus, the Lohars, the Hajams, and even the Somalis, who were allowed to come onto the ship. A ship which could carry 400 people has carried 1,200 people and brought them to Mombasa. The Federation of Africa and the office bearers arrived in Mombasa at the dock to receive them. And it was a scene of crying and weeping and grieving when the people arrived. In any case, they have been accommodated in Nairobi and in Mombasa. And they are at the moment being looked after by the people. The hiring of the ship has cost $300,000, which has been paid by Mu'mineen. May Allah bless them, because they have used their wealth in the right way. And others have paid generously for their upkeep and for accommodation, and may Allah give them barakah and continue in tawfiqat. But it takes a person himself to understand, because there are people here I know, from Zanzibar, from Uganda, from perhaps Zaire, I know. We cannot understand what they have gone through. They will tell you what they have gone through. Similarly, people of Mogadishu today, They simply, although despite all the comfort, they are still not well accommodated in their own conscience, because they always meet to remember and reminisce what has happened in the house, how they left, how they were saved, and what is happening to the remaining family members in Mogadishu. The rescue of the remaining 170 is still being undertaken. Please pray that we succeed in getting them also out of Mogadishu. All things considered, the question is that this does not resolve the problem. The problem has just begun. Where will they go now? And I say this from Mimbar only, to make an appeal to all of you, that some of them will have to come to England. Some of them will have to go to America or to Canada. And we are in contact with the authorities. We must be thankful to government of Kenya, to government of Pakistan, to government of Italy, for whatever they helped and whatever they did. But we are also very thankful to these governments, governments of the West, the British and the Americans and the Canadians, who have shown willingness to accept some of them as refugees or some of them as people who have come for asylum. Now when they come, my friends, my brothers and sisters, we will have to keep ourselves prepared to receive them. One, to accommodate them. Two, to provide for them for the time being. Three, till inshallah ta'ala they are on their feet and they are suitably employed and they have their own abode. For this I say with an appeal to keep ourselves prepared. Very soon we will have to make crucial decisions in order to help them in relocating them, rehabilitating them, and resettling. Well, you can see them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives living examples. And for this reason I again repeat, do not leave the rope of Allah, urwatul wuthqa. And do not leave the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rope of Quran and Ahlul Bayt. Do not leave. For these are the days of prayers. Give sadaqah, hadith kisa, dua azm al-bala, and any dua that you can read. And remember that tell our children and our youngsters to be practicing Muslims right when we are passing through the throat of Islam. Let us sit at home and make it sure that at least 10 minutes of Islamic lessons are conducted in every household. And our children are told that these are the days when we are going to prove our values all the more. In the times of crisis, the ideologies have to survive. They don't have to perish. This is very important, and I say this despite my ill health, because I did not want to come tonight. But something within me told me that this is the night when I can pass this message to all of my brothers and sisters. This is a very important message, and although it does not interrelate, the underlining factor is that all of us rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The comforts of life, the securities of life, without Allah are false. It gains meaning when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His rida enters into it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.